change can be really difficult. The thing that you agree to change can look very daunting once it stares you back in the face. You know the change needs to happen. The people are on board. But it doesn't mean that you don't need a little bit of courage to get you over that starting line. And the one thing I tell people is just take a deep breath and make the first move. It's always the hardest. And just like that, you're off. How you change is completely up to you, and it's up to who's going through the change. Everyone likes to do things a little different, and that's perfectly fine. The important part is that you start. Most changes don't even get off the ground. Once you've gotten into it, take a moment and just take a good look at your progress. Watch for any wins, watch for any missteps, and even feel free to go back and do it again if you need to. Because at the end of the day, it's your change. And hey, look, failures happen, but it doesn't mean that you need to stay with the failure. You can always change that failure into a win. Now, not every change requires bold action, but every change requires that you do act, that the organization acts. Even if you get bogged down a little bit, just pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and keep moving. It's fun to see an organization or a person nearing its goal to become whatever that expected change outcome is. It will be a different person or a different organization at the end of that change, but in the end, there are better people and a better organization for going through that change. So now, I go back to the beginning. Change can be difficult. What you are seeing is a big change that I went through before the end of this year. I had been trimming my own hair for many years and knew that the crown area of my head was thinning. I had many people that were my friends and a few girlfriends here and there that had noticed it since I was about 18 years old and had mentioned it to me in ways that were both very sympathetic and ways that were not sympathetic. Things got worse as I went to graduate school. I could actually start to see the skin on the top of my head through my hair. And while many people are already embracing this trend in Chicago at that time, it was still quite difficult for me to embrace the fact that what I had attached to youth and vitality was now going. It was slipping through my fingers. Sometimes quite literally. It takes a lot for anybody, man or woman, to admit that they're going bald. I resisted it for many years. I tried cutting my hair shorter, I used creams and special shampoos, and none of it really did much for me. I continued to see hair being washed down the drain, and despite my every attempt to stymie it. I went through all the stages of resistance that you see in change management. I even went through all of the extended Kubler-Ross Grief model phases. And about 2 years ago, shortly after being engaged, I let my now wife know that someday I too was going to go bald. I was going to shave my hair. And I asked her when she might want this to occur, just to get her buy-in as much as I could. And about a month ago, I did film this. I shaved my head. It was distressing a little at first. You see my natural reactions here to actually shaving my head. You don't see me actually taking a razor to it, though since that time I have, and I'm actually getting quite used to it. I'm getting quite used to what I look like, the new me. I'm still not ready yet to use my old single-bladed safety razor or my straight razor. I've cut myself up a couple of times already. I've even had some interesting razor burn that I never expected to get. And a couple of ingrown hairs, just to round out the experience. And I'm putting this up here because I know many people are also going through this. And I want you to know that change doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to be a big thing to make a big impact. This felt like it was going to be a bigger problem than it really was in the end. And being somebody who is now shaving my head versus worrying about the way I look as far as where my hair is at, if it's too wet, what's going on with it, I feel a little better. And that feeling of feeling better is really translating for me into more confidence in what I'm doing, a little bit more surety of what I'm trying to say because I'm not worried about peripheral things. All change is easier with people on your side supporting you through the decision, and a decision that you've already agreed to take responsibility for. I had lots of friends and family that gave great responses, and I really appreciated that throughout this process. So don't be afraid of change. And always, if you guys need anything as far as ideas about how to change or anything like that, please do let me know in the comments or direct message me. I'd be very interested to hear that and incorporate that in some of the videos. This being the first video of 2020, I want to let you know that I am still going to make videos. I'm still trying to figure out the pacing. So until then, thanks everyone. Bye.